I'm afraid there's no. I promise you now. I'm promising you. And I've started recording. Promising you, the lovely audience.
Yeah.
No more Primark haulages this week. No more Primark haulages this week. So getting that
We've done
right.
it.
I'm getting that
done it.
within the first minute before any introductions, before anything. No more Primark clothes, okay?
I mean, I'm just scanning the background. I'm trying to see if you've got any extra layers on. Or...
Spirit level, like no, nothing.
I feel like
that.
you're saying this, and then something's going to appear.
Oh, well, I do have something scary as in COVID, so that's why this episode today will be a bit shorter, and I will be a bit coughing and a bit sounding like Barry White at times. So yeah. So welcome back to the Dreadcast, folks. This is our episode on Saw X. Notice I'm not going by episode names now because I'm
trying to remember. I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
No, we're going to
be the next one. It's the one after the last one you listen to. I mean, people probably cherry pick anyway, right? Depending on what film that we're listening to, talking about even. So, I mean, that's how I listen to podcasts. I'll be like, I'll come back.
Yeah.
The other ones, but cherry pick the ones you're keen on listening to in the moment.
Yeah, I think if it's a show or a podcast that each episode is something different, rather than the Tom and Aidan show, episode 1, the Tom and Aidan show, episode 2, and it's like we talk about something different every episode, and then people want to go back to all these audio streaming services to which one did I enjoy the most, whereas they could just see the film titles and go, oh, I like that film, go to that film.
That's it. People are here for the films, not us. We've got nothing to do with
it. They are not here for us. You guys are not here for us. You are here for, I mean, can I even say our commentary on these films? Our takes?
Well, in this particular instance, you're here for the 10th film in the Saw franchise.
It will be. There's no preamble today because I want to get the hell out of here and get back to bed. Friday the 13th. Happy Friday the 13th, one and all. And
Happy Friday the 13th.
It has taken me out today, Friday the 13th. The Omen is for real. Yeah, but we're gonna make it through, and we're gonna get through Saw X. Normally we would do about half-hour preamble, but like I said, no Primark. Oh, I'm saving the wine until next week.
Okay, yeah.
Because I'm on grapes and water right now and medicine, and I probably shouldn't be drinking. But the thing with the wine is that it glows in the dark as well, so we need a dark room and we need to see that. So 19 Crimes wine. So we'll do a taste on that next week and maybe some more preamble. But no preamble today. Just
no
COVID.
Preamble.
COVID sucks. Don't get it. I don't advise it. I don't.
It's back. Like
I'm on the sequel.
Like John Kramer. It's back.
It's old. See, you're also the master of segues.
COVID X.
That made me laugh. Oh, and one more thing, folks, just before we get into it, I do want to say, if you haven't checked out last week's episode, thoroughly enjoyed it. It was from Final Destination 1. Do go check it out on all the usual places you can find all this guff at, like YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, Podbean, and all, just those places. I'm really on form today. Just go find it. Oh, he's frozen. He's frozen, and he looks evil. Is he there? Come in, Aidan. Oh boy. Oh boy, the Friday the 13th curse has got us all now, folks. Oh boy. What? Is he back?
Oh, he's back. You back?
No, you're back.
No, you froze for me.
No, you're the one that froze, my friend.
I was very much not the frozen one.
You were, because I was commentating. Where is he here? Is he here? Is he? Okay, let's hope.
Anyway, I don't know what happened there.
Let's hope that was a one-time occurrence. Friday the 13th is really getting.
There we go.
Really getting it in, today with COVID and bad internet connections. But okay,
Gremlins in the machine.
Saw Oh, by the way, yeah. Those Exorcist Believer reviews. Oh, anyway, Saw X, Saw 10, Saw 1.5, whatever you want to call it. We did our trailer reaction. And first impressions, I got to be honest, I think everything we pretty much said in our trailer reaction, it was kind of fair.
Yeah.
This film I felt was okay, and then it was not okay, then it was okay, then it was not okay, then it was okay. It had ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs.
I mean, for me, it's a little bit more black and white. It lost me massively in the second half. I enjoyed the first bit, and basically when it started to be a Saw film, i.e. when the traps and stuff came into it, that's when I very quickly lost interest.
Yeah.
And I had another sort of very torturous last half hour where I was just like, just end already, stop. We can just finish it now. Just, you've done everything, finish it.
Yeah.
Because that is something that I did say just as I was going into it, put a little tweet out saying, why is this 2 hours?
Yeah,
it does not need to be 2 hours. And I felt that I was right in that regard.
Had we talked before, along with the trailer reaction, but had you seen all the franchise?
I think we have mentioned it before. Yeah. And no, I haven't. First two. I've seen the first two.
Okay.
And I was debating before I went to see it whether to not necessarily watch all the films because I don't know if I'd have had time to, but to at least read the plot outlines, read synopses of all of the missing ones. And I decided not to. Yeah. I decided not to, given what I knew that it was a prequel of sorts, and it was the timeline was set when it was. I thought it might not matter too much, and I was just kind of curious to see what it'd be like going in as a noob to it, really, and just kind of keeping that fresh, which I know is a little bit crazy because it's the 10th film in the series, but given that it was also sort of a prequel of sorts, I thought I'm just going to go in knowing what I know about the Saw franchise without any extra research and see how that affects things. And to be honest, I found it didn't really affect it at all. The only issue I kind of had was Shawnee Smith's character, Amanda Young, who I didn't really know who they were, but fairly quickly picked up that she's an accomplice of sorts, and just it didn't really matter that I didn't know exactly where she'd sort of debuted or whatever. Although I think it is the second film, isn't it, where she appears?
No, it's one. So Amanda. Okay, there's actually a lot to go into. Okay, Amanda is the infamous reverse bear trap victim in Saw 1, but she escapes. She proves that her life.
Oh, that's right. It's right at the beginning, isn't
it? She proves that she wants to live. She doesn't want to just give up. She wants her life, wants redemption for what she's done in life. In Saw 2, she is put back in the trap. She's in the house with all the other victims. And in Saw 3, she is working with Jigsaw. Sorry, spoiler. You said you hadn't seen that.
Yeah.
My bad.
I'm not going to go back and watch him.
Well,
I might do, but
I think you should at some point. They're not awful films, As far as a writing purpose, I think the writing is clever. At least I don't think the text, part of the writing is great, but the structure and world building and how everything links, I find very, very clever, very well done. So you've kind of had like a little gap filled between 1 and 2 in a way, seeing that's all you've seen. Okay. Yeah. For me, I always rank the franchises, this franchise, as in, at the top was Saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I always had them ranked as in the order they released. They kind of steadily just got worse. This one I would put after 3. I put it in the middle because to me this film is just a middling. And I agree with exactly what you said. The first half, I thought was actually quite good.
Yeah.
But this is the least feeling Saw film of the franchise.
Yeah.
But it's probably the best produced, I think, from a cinematography production point. This is probably the best produced. It doesn't have that soap opera sort of look or feel to it, or TV, daytime TV
movie.
Yeah. The bit of glossiness to it. This felt very, very high produced, even for, I think it was just over a $10 million budget, which is like nothing. Yeah, but it's the least feeling because of the way it's structured. Whereas the first half, we are
13 million budget.
13, right? We're in a different film for most of the first half. We're not in a what people class as a Saw film, where your traps are spread out through the film, and then the gaps are filled in with your exposition, plot, character reveals, and all that jazz. The traps are normally like either the flashbacks or they're the present day. This is story, trap time.
Yeah, I mean it's a revenge movie, isn't it? In a lot of ways.
Yeah, it is, and that as well I had a bit of an issue with, because for the majority of the
there's another little glitch there. I don't know what's going on today.
What is going on with you, sir? He's still here, folks. Don't worry. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
I don't know what. It's
wonderful.
Just decided to switch the webcam off. Why has it done that?
There we oh! Is he coming back?
There we go. Am I back?
You are back, sir. You are back. Welcome to the world.
I don't know
everyone say hello to Aidan.
He's done a bunch of updates again, and it's just generally being a jackass, as it usually does once it's done some updates. Hopefully everything's settled now, though.
Discord in a nutshell. As I was saying, for the majority of the franchise, like John Kramer, like he's portrayed basically as evil to the public. You know?
Yeah.
And even towards the end of the franchise, which you haven't seen, but it's not much spoiler, we get more backstory but with him as to why he is who he is, his relationship with Jill, a woman called Jill, problems they have, and just everything that makes him eventually who he is. You get the slight bit of sympathetic feeling like, okay, this guy's gone through a lot of shit. I see what he's doing, but it's still not right. It's still horrible.
Yeah.
He's the hero.
Yeah, and this is the kind of fundamental issue that I had with it.
Yeah.
Is that he is Jigsaw at this point.
Yeah.
We know that he is doing what he's doing. And yet we're expected to feel sympathy for him as a victim of a scam, basically, isn't it?
It's a scam. Yeah.
And then also trying to make the perpetrator of the scam more of a villain.
Yeah. Oh God, yes.
The trap building serial murderer of sorts, whatever you want to call it. It's difficult to categorize exactly what Jigsaw is because he doesn't technically kill people, but
he's a hell of a kidnapper.
Mm-hmm. I guess, well, yeah, serial kidnapper. Then
serial kidnapper, yeah.
We'll go with that. So yeah, they try and make the perpetrator of this, who is a victim of Jigsaw.
Yeah.
More of a villain, and she ends up just being this like ridiculously cartoonish over the top.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that was something I did have issue with. But up until that point, the whole scam thing, like as much as we talk about it and we don't like sort of backstories where they don't need to be backstories and stuff like this, this would have made a great Saw 1. And and it be, I mean, obviously Saw 1 was great for a whole bunch of other reasons, but if you were going to start afresh, this could be a pretty good premise. I'm not going to say entry because there are things that could have been done better, but guy gets scammed and then goes on an absolutely ridiculous revenge mission to get retribution against the people that perpetrated the scam. That's a brilliant premise for a movie.
Yeah, I'd never really considered that. That is a great premise. Yeah.
But yeah, it does just fall down a little bit because it's like, well, we know he's Jigsaw, and we know he's a bad guy. He's a villain, but now we're expected to feel sympathy for him because he got scammed, and then also root for him getting revenge on the people that did it. Yeah, it doesn't quite work. I think the way that they want it to, really, not for me anyway.
No, I agree. And it's, like I said, for the most part in the Saw franchise, John Kramer is the villain. Okay, I'm simplifying this as making it as simple as possible. Even though he doesn't kill, he's the killer in these films. He's the slasher. Okay,
yeah.
But in this, he is like more of the hero. He's got to save the young boy, save Amanda, his friend, and it's like, we're gonna make it out of here. We're gonna survive.
Yeah.
The contrast between that and the suddenly the Doctor becoming this goofy supervillain.
She is ridiculous.
It just
mustache twirling,
yes,
like Skeletor or something. She goes out of her way to be like so bad. It's
and her brutish, awful actor husband.
Yeah,
and they may as well just be saying, oh, they may actually say it. We did it. We got them all. We conned them all. We did it. We're gonna do it again. We're amazing con artists, aren't we, darling? We're amazing. We're good scam artists. Knocked it out the bag.
Yeah, I mean, his reveal, spoiler, but his reveal as being also in on it was just a rubbish as well. I thought, I mean, it's because as soon as it was apparent that Jigsaw had been scammed and this whole medical procedure was a ruse to get his money, I instantly, and I'm sure you did, assumed that everybody he'd met in that facility was in on the scam.
Yeah.
So it was absolutely no shock at all to find out that when he comes back into it, is also in on it. Now, they tried to sort of...
Oh, sorry, you mean when he's first introduced in the operating
Yeah.
Oh, that was like... No, something feels iffy about this. I mean, something feels iffy about the room in general, and although something felt iffy because the trailer gave all this away.
It did, but when they're trying to make out like he's got the gun and he's banging on the door and he's like, oh, I want my money, and you're supposed to think like, oh, he was conned as well. Yeah. He's coming back for his money, or you're possibly gonna think. Because I already assumed he was in on it. I thought, oh, he's already been double crossed by her, so he's coming for his cut of the money, not like what I've paid back. So it completely fell flat for me. It did that reveal that was supposed to be, I guess, supposed to be a shock twist. I think that's kind of a thing about the Saw franchise as well, isn't it? That there's always like a little nuanced twist of what's actually going on, and
you're led to believe one thing throughout the whole film, but yet something you've probably missed subtly throughout the film is happening, and then that is now the plot progression throughout the story. Like, you're led down a completely different. You're led down a cul-de-sac of lies. Yeah. Which is why I quite like the writing of the original series, because you're left guessing.
As a twist, this is just a bit of a weak one. I think it does feel like that now was a good time to end the franchise. They're clearly getting to the bottom of the barrel of ideas. It is how that came across to me. So like it just, as soon as it did that first half is really good, and the whole premise and stuff is decent, but it just it kind of once it starts getting into the Saw side of things with the traps and stuff, it just starts to fall off there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you could have. I feel like this could have been maybe a short TV series because of the way it's structured. You want your penultimate episode and your final episode with the big big moments. And the way this film is structured compared to the other Saw films, where the other Saw films, you'll get a trap 5 minutes in, 15 minutes in, then 20. Like here, you're building up. You're building up. You could have, this could be a 6 to 8 episode TV show, and you build to the climax right at the end. That's what, just a one series TV show. Like, it would work. The acting, on the other hand, I really like Tobin Bell. I think he's a good actor. Hell of a unique voice. I mean, there's no one like him. I actually maybe first, or one of the first times I saw him was in the show 24. Actually, one of my favorite shows of all time.
Okay.
He's one of the villains in that. Still evil and raspy voice. Yo, Jigsaw. I can't do it with my COVID voice. But as far as the acting goes, yeah, he's great. But the rest, especially our supervillain, she is not not great. Not great.
No.
Not great at all.
I was
maybe mediocre.
And our male con artist, the Stephen Brown's character, Parker, whatever, Parker Lewis.
Parker. So that we're all called Parkers over here, aren't we? And Quinton and Tarquin.
It is my surname, but
don't expose yourself like that. People will find you now.
Oh, and what?
Don't test them.
I mean, it's not like it's my bank details and my address, is it? It's a surname. But yeah, he wasn't good, and I was trying to place him because he looked very familiar.
Oh yeah,
and I can't. I'm looking through his credits now.
Yep.
And there's nothing that I've seen, but there's also nothing that looks particularly good.
We're talking daytime movies again.
There's a lot of there's one called Alien Express.
Oh, that's a train. That's got to be a sci-fi special. Oh, shut up!
Yeah,
all right,
I mean, he was in the Scorpion King. Apparently.
Exactly. What are you talking about? No big films. Come on now.
And some Hellraiser sequels.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, Revelations and Judgment, apparently.
So yeah, he's not got the best credit list here.
Yeah, and he wasn't very convincing as.
No, not at all. No. Yep. However,
as anything, or menacing or threatening or anything it was, I guess, supposed to be.
Have you ever seen Hellraiser Revelations?
No.
It's not even got Doug Bradley in. It's a completely different Pinhead. Yeah. It's horrific. 2.7 out of 10.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
No, it's bad.
Got Hellraiser at home.
Yeah. Well, the other characters, like the other people that partaked in the scam, Gabriella, Matteo, is it Valentina?
Valentina. Yeah, she was our first victim, I guess. Gabriella was the young girl who Jigsaw takes a bit of a shine to.
And Diego, the cab driver that brings him in the first place from the airport to the facility.
Yes. His headshot on Google is outrageous. He's got so much hair.
Joshua Okamoto?
Okamoto, yeah.
I was just about to say, I'm just reading this. Born in Saitama, Japan, to a Japanese father and Mexican mother. Okay, so he is half Mexican. Because I just seen the name, I'm like, hang on, that's a Japanese name, and he's portraying a Mexican? Yeah, he has got a lot of hair in his headshot. There's not really anyone else to really. It's quite a small cast.
Yeah, it's quite. It is quite a small cast. I guess that's standard because they're usually quite claustrophobic, aren't they? The Saw movies, they all sort of take place in a couple of locations, usually just a dirty warehouse or whatever.
a few things about that I had thought of. That so Jigsaw, John Kramer is an engineer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Genius brain engineer. You see doing the traps.
He's an architect, I think he's described as, isn't it? He said when he's asked what he does, he says he's an architect.
Oh, I believe you're right. Sorry, folks. Sorry.
Which was something I was thinking about, because I was like, architects design buildings, which is a long way from designing reverse bear traps and most of the stuff that he actually uses.
He was formerly an architect.
Yes.
And formerly a civil engineer, it says here. So,
but again, civil engineering's like bridge building and road construction. It's not traps. It's not elaborate murder machines. But anyway, that's not to say he can't have a hobby and just be good at it. But yeah, I don't think his professional credentials count for much.
No, but the thing with it, he's got this genius brain and he can think 10 steps ahead of anyone, it seems. I can't remember, again, because this was a film that was released at the cinema. It's not something we can just quickly go back to and get more notes on. So I saw it 2 weeks ago, you saw it last week. So my brain is a bit fuzzy.
Earlier this week.
Oh yes, you're right. The time between him discovering it was all a scam and then the games beginning, was there a set time frame there, do you know?
Yeah, I don't know that we find out. I can't remember it being... I don't think we get like a 6 months later or anything like that, if that's what you mean.
It's also set in the same industrial warehouse building that the operation was taking place, right? He's just lit it up. How the hell did he and possibly Amanda hit that place out with all the traps? Everything, because engineering has to be perfect. Precision is so important.
But this is a query about the Saw franchise, the Saw movies I've always had anyway. Like, what's stopping just any urban explorers just breaking into these warehouses or like a homeless person going, oh, I could sleep in there and stumbling across these things. I mean, I think that not just about the Saw franchise generally, but I guess a lot of sort of urban based murder or even I guess superhero layers and things like that. It's like, surely you gotta get some random like homeless dude just wandering in and going, what's going on here?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Why are these like barbaric I don't know if they would know they're traps, just pieces set up. Why is there barbed wire over there?
Or I mean, to think of a specific trap, and one that always stands out in my mind is the needle trap from Saw 2.
Oh, this pit of needles.
The pit of needles. Like, how long does it take to acquire that many needles? And it must, nobody's ever seen Jigsaw in the preceding like weeks or months or whatever, just carrying like garbage bags full of needles, like into some random industrial unit.
I'm having a look now, see how many needles we're looking at. Oh, it's so many.
Because it's more than just like nicked a couple of sharps bins.
Look at the state of this.
It's like months and months and months. Like he's redirected. Yeah. Like he's redirected the disposal trucks for a couple of months or something from the local exchange centre.
That has always been a question in my mind, but I feel like specifically with this one, how did he do this?
Yeah, because also in a foreign country where he doesn't speak the language very well,
that's established. That's established.
Yeah. Because his Spanish isn't very good, so
which then kind of leads on to the fact that these traps are so. I think trying to think back to every film roughly from traps wise. These traps are really intricate, especially Mateo's. And again, time, resources.
Which one was Mateo?
He had to do brain surgery on himself.
Oh, that yeah.
I mean, just.
Oh yeah, he's getting like specialist chemicals for that one, and like things that even in a country where you speak the language, I wouldn't know where to I wouldn't know the first place to go for half of this stuff.
No, not a clue. Not a clue. Yeah, I mean, I assume I'm probably meant to be not thinking about that. I'm meant to be.
Yeah, of course you are, but you know,
what's the phrase? You're meant to be not thinking in depth for these things. It's like I'm a wrestling fan, right? So I'm not meant to be thinking that I'm meant to be watching it as a like a story, like a soap opera. What?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's got to be a little bit of suspension of disbelief.
That's it.
Isn't it?
That's it.
Yeah.
Suspension. You've got to suspend your disbelief with this film, and all these stupid little things like how do you do that? The trap at the end, where he was set up on it. Yeah,
the seesaw one.
The precision with that, and all that blood that he managed to collect,
gallons and gallons of blood,
which just kept going. It kept going.
Well, it probably filtered through and then got pumped back up, and it was just reusing the same. You know, he's clever and resourceful.
Dirty, grimy, reused blood.
But yeah, from God knows where.
Oh yeah. But so the traps, right? What did you think of the traps?
Well, the first we do see one early on, don't we? So the first one we see is the poster trap.
Yeah,
and it's imagined. It's not actually carried out.
That was disappointing.
Which was a bit of a cop out, isn't it?
And it's probably, in my opinion, the easiest trap to get out of.
Yeah, because it didn't look that bad. I've got to say.
I broke my finger back in April. It fucking hurt. But I would definitely break all 5 of them to not get my eyeballs sucked out.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was sat there watching it. I was like, I'd just crank that to 5 straight away and ow. You know, just do it in one. And you'd scream a bit, but you know, you'd be walking out of there.
Yeah.
But so it was a bit. I guess a bit weak, and again feels like they're running out of ideas. This is the first trap of a Saw movie. You kind of want something big, you know, not necessarily your big showstopper end one, but you want something like, oh yeah, here we go. You know, you're rubbing your hands and let's settle in. And yeah, it felt like I was kind of watching it, going, well, this doesn't feel like anything too difficult.
You're definitely right, because the opening of most of the Saw films have a we're straight in there. We're
like
in
the
there
signature
with a
one. It's the poster trap. It's the one that everybody remembers, like the reverse bear or whatever.
Saw 2, I believe, was it was like a headpiece with spikes in that would cut.
Oh yeah, like the Iron Maiden head.
And he had to dig out the key from behind his eye. I mean, that is a hell of a lot more impactful than this.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly. Like you say, you're breaking 5 fingers, and it's not like, didn't look like it was going to be an irreparable break either. It was.
No, it wasn't ripped off or anything. They were just.
No.
It looked like it was at the knuckle. There. It was along the knuckles there, which is.
It was, yeah, exactly. It wasn't. It didn't. I mean, to be honest, wrenched back, but arguably not even broken.
No, you probably do more damage to the tendons and nerves.
Yeah, it didn't look like it was. It had hurt, but it didn't look like it was anything permanent.
The thing with this trap, this is their main marketing tool. This trap, and I think that's pretty bad. This is your main marketing.
Disappointing when you've seen it, yeah. I mean, I guess it's only imaginary, so maybe in the actual final design, this is just first proof of concept. You know, in the final design, if it'd have had to have gone through with it, then maybe it would have come up with something better. But yeah, that was a bit weak. I did like the pipe bombs grafted onto the arms.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, it was again perhaps a little too simplistic.
Yep.
For a saw trap because it's not really a trap. It as so much as you've just got some bombs strapped to your arms. But I don't know. I think that's because that's like when the gore started flowing a little bit, and I was like, yeah, this is. And I don't know. I thought it was quite funny. I guess because it was so simple, with the scalpel hands.
Oh god, yeah, he had the how were those pipe bombs attached to his arm? Were they
I think they were. I think they had steel. It's some sort of steel cable because I think he says that the blades won't cut the cable. It's steel or whatever, and it was threaded through the muscle of his forearm. I think.
Yeah.
So he essentially had to just like hack away, most of his forearm tissue to get rid of him. So again, not the most elaborate of traps, but pretty brutal and certainly painful and disfiguring. The Valentina one.
That one was. I didn't know bone marrow was so gooey like that. I didn't know you could just do that with bone marrow. Just suck it out.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
well, I actually thought bone marrow was like a harder substance.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think it is. No, it's like semi-solid. I mean,
that was
most of the time when I've encountered bone marrow, it's been something cooked, food, chicken bone marrow or something like that. But
when you've encountered your own bone marrow.
Ooh, no. But yeah, I believe it. I think it is liquid, isn't it?
That was a very horrific trap.
It is, but I felt like she cut off her leg far too easily.
Well,
and I don't mean like the physicality of it. I mean like she was kind of not really feeling it.
She was kind of into it at one point.
I mean, she does that first cut and she was like, ah! And then she was just like, I'm cutting my own leg off. There didn't seem to be too much of a personal struggle with it. And again, suspension of disbelief that you'd actually be able to do it and not just immediately pass out from the pain. But yeah, it just felt like she wasn't really selling it as the painful experience that it undoubtedly is.
Well, that's such a factor with these saw traps. What if the victim passes out? That doesn't go with Jigsaw's plan.
I guess I don't know. Just gotta go with it. But following on from that, we had the intestine scene.
Oh my god, with the rope.
Which I also thought was just. I mean, okay, we find out later on that Dr. Pedersen, Cecilia, is the real villain of the piece.
Yeah.
But she's very quick to just be like, I'll eviscerate this corpse and use the intestine as a rope before tying the clothes together, maybe, or
I thought
just doing anything else.
Yeah. No, that's the logical first step. Let's go for the intestines.
for a stable, supposedly, educated human being who's not a complete psychopath. But I mean, even as a criminal, she's a con artist, not a cannibal. It's like eviscerating somebody's like a big fucking step to take.
Yeah, she had no problem with just gutting Valentina and whipping out, and then she's not even a surgeon. She's a make-believe surgeon, like a doctor. None of what she's saying is real. So, you could be the greatest con artist in the world, and you could still have the gip from blood, from the sight of blood and gore and whatnot. No, she's in. She becomes that supervillain.
Yeah, straight away. Just gonna cut these intestines out and use them as the lasso.
We have Mateo's trap, which I alluded to earlier, which is just very over the top. Now there are over the top traps in Saw. I mean,
it is, but this was definitely the most Saw one for me. I thought this was the best, like the best one. Probably.
You thought this was the best one?
Yeah. I think so.
Okay. I think I prefer Gabriella's.
Oh yeah, the extreme heat lamp.
No idea where he got them from, but yeah,
No.
two of them. But yeah, Matteo, because his part in the scam being the surgeon and was just pretending to do brain surgery on John, is now being forced to do brain surgery on himself, and I think he has to cut part of his skull away and bring some of the brain matter out to then be eviscerated in what is the chemical?
I think it just says an enzyme solution.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
it was enough brain matter to dissolve in this enzyme solution to
open the door, which had the key in to take it.
Yeah.
It was so many steps.
Yeah. I mean, with the Valentina's bone marrow, I think it was like 3.5 ounces of bone marrow would tip the scale to turn off the machine. But with Matteo, it was just an unspecified amount of brain matter dissolved in that liquid.
Yeah,
would open a door. I don't know.
Yeah, it would open a little hatch that had a key in that would take, because he had a headpiece on, which then eventually, he didn't make it. It's got like a sort of Mayan look to it on the front. It encloses and just fries his face.
It's like with a heating element in it. I think it had some link because he's obviously the taxi driver as well, isn't it? And he
no. Diego is the guy with the pipe bombs.
Sorry,
he's the surgeon, the quote unquote surgeon.
Who else? Who have I missed then? Was Matteo not the anaesthetist? Which one was the anaesthetist?
Valentina, right?
No, she was the nurse. Valentina was the nurse. Matteo was the anaesthetist, and I'm pretty sure it was Diego that was.
That's it. Yes.
Surgeon.
Yes, but then Diego's obviously been taken care of before this, so. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Matteo. It was the anaesthetist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Matteo that was the anaesthetist.
That's it. That's the one. Yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of over the top traps in Saw, but this one, I don't know. There was something about it. Just, I think I was still thinking along the lines of, how did he do this so quickly? How did he witness?
I was mainly wondering about just how there was a little spiel about how resilient the brain is and how you can like cut parts of it away and it'll repair itself. And I was like, yeah, but I don't think that's instant. I'm pretty sure if you're blindly jabbing a scalpel into your own brain, you're probably gonna do something, check out of there really quick. Maybe not die, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna induce immediate paralysis or unconsciousness.
I mean, what if he nicked something that stopped him being able to use his arm?
Use his arm, exactly.
I can't get
probably really easy to do.
Can't get the key out now.
He just goes all
but yeah, again, all this was in the trailer.
Yeah,
none of this was really a surprise. We saw him about to do the operation in the trailer. You think back to that trailer, how overexposed it was.
It was, but I think, to be honest, I've probably forgotten most of it by the time I came to see the film. But I probably enjoyed the movie a lot more than I enjoyed the trailer. I don't have fond memories of watching the trailer.
I mean, the trailer had, I can't remember what song it was, but there was a slowed down song on top of it.
I was waiting for that song to start at some point, though, and it did. I'm glad it didn't.
It would have been perfect.
I was like, is it going to happen?
Would have been perfect. And yeah, then we have Gabriella's trap, where she is, because at one point they're all shackled by the ankle and chains, but her shackle, she gets yanked up, or she gets asked to put a hand through one of the shackles, right, which then pulls her up. So she's hung by one hand with one shackle being pulled on her ankle, and she has to bash her ankles and her wrist to release her hands and feet, whilst being pummeled by the biggest heat guns ever. Yeah,
she's basically being cooked. But the longer she takes, it goes up in increments, doesn't it? The longer she takes it, like it goes to the next setting. But yeah, I just I don't know. It was all right. There was nothing wrong with it particularly. I did like the little sort of twist that we got with it, where because Dr. Peterson had said like hit your ankle first. She started on her hand, and it was like hit your ankle first because then you'll swing out of the way of the heat. And so she does, and then the gun just moves along. I did like that.
Yeah, that
but
was
she shouldn't
nice.
have listened to her, because if she'd have hit her hand, she'd have dropped to the ground and then been completely out of the way of it. Anyway, it took her just as long smashing her hand as it did smashing her foot. So I don't know why she didn't just go with her initial instinct of getting to the ground first.
You may have still got her neck broken regardless.
Well, yeah.
When supervillain returns later on to just
she probably would have, but
stamp on Gabriella's neck. I keep going back to it. She even puts on a duster, doesn't she? Like a duster coat to prove how evil she is. Oh,
she's just missing a top hat and little thin moustache. Honestly,
yeah,
she was terribly cartoonish.
Yeah, I think
cartoonish.
Yeah, the phrase torture porn gets spread around a lot with these sorts of films. Sorry, I was about to sneeze then. Huh. I'm ill. And I feel like the others can kind of get a pass compared to this one, because I don't know, they're all with this one, they are all in the same room having to perform with their traps. That is more torture porn-esque, because it's like a show, rather than it being spread across the film with meaning.
Yeah,
you know, I don't know. It was just a little point I thought of while I was watching it. I mean, we don't really hear that phrase torture porn anymore. It was very a 2000s thing. Hostel, Saw, many other films that came out where it was just gore for the sake of gore. But this, like we said earlier, this just went on. This was just the second half of traps and blood and gore. You need a breather. You need a breather here and there.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, I agree with you. You do. It could have been structured better. It wasn't. And most of the non-trap stuff was basically just Amanda and Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Just having the same conversation. It felt like they just kept having the same conversation about, like, let's just get out of here kind of thing.
Can we do it? Are we going to do it? Can we do this? Yeah.
And arguing over whether Gabriella was, worthy of it, the punishment or not. It was, that just putting this conflict in there between them, and it was, just kind of boring. Got a bit repetitive.
Yeah, and then obviously our final trap, which we alluded to earlier, the seesaw, which was intended for our evil couple, Parker and Cecilia. Again, how he thought so far ahead that he knew he would turn up, that this trap was intended for them. It's mind-boggling. Like, this is super genius level.
Well, and the fact that there was a contingency for if it went wrong.
Yeah.
And as he says in the film, like, one way or another, everybody's going to get punished or whatever. This is going to work or whatever it was that he says. Yeah, because like as you say, it's not until we get that extra reveal where Parker says, "Hang on a minute, if that trap was for you, who was meant to be on the other side of the seesaw?" At which point, he triggers the final trap, which was just a backup, a nice little backup just in case. So it's clever. It's still got these little clever elements, and there was still that sort of intelligence there. But I feel like some of it kind of fell a little bit flat.
Yeah. I agree.
But
I agree.
It's good that they still had the little clever bits.
The final. Did you stay after the credits?
I was wondering about this. I didn't.
You didn't?
I didn't. No, I wondered if, as I was walking out, there was a post credits. To be honest, I just wanted to get home. I was tired. I was tired. I had an early start in the morning, and I was like, oh, "There's probably a post-credit scene, but you know what? I'll just look on YouTube later." And I haven't done. But I did wonder as I was walking, because I was the only person that got up and left, I think, and there was everybody else. I mean, it wasn't hugely full when I went to see it,
No,
but
same.
everybody else sat there, and I thought, there's probably a post-credit scene, but I'm not that bothered.
No, I really despise post-credit scenes now. It's a Marvel thing that it's so played out. Just put it in the film. There's no reason to keep people in the cinema for an extra minute or two. Well, you're not getting anything out of it.
I mean, arguably the people that that worked on the film that are going to appear at the bottom of the credits are perhaps appreciative of it, but nobody's reading the credits, are they? They're still just waiting for the scene.
So did you look up at all what happened?
No, I haven't done yet. So go ahead. You feel free to talk about it.
Well, we get the introduction of a character which, when you get to watching the rest of the Saw franchise, plays a very important role.
Okay, see, this is another reason why I didn't. I thought the post-credit scene will probably allude to something that I have no idea what it is anyway.
It was probably for the best, actually, and that is what I will leave it on for that character. I would say he is a very pivotal. He plays a very pivotal role in the rest of the franchise from 4 onwards. Yeah, 4 onwards.
Mm-hmm.
But the scene itself is back at the bathroom, the dingy bathroom from Saw 1.
Right.
And
I mean,
Jigsaw,
it is on YouTube.
Jigsaw has up in restraints the guy that told him originally, the black guy that told him originally to go for this operation.
Okay.
He was involved in this as well.
Oh, see, I wondered about that.
He's got him held up like this with some sort of contraption. It's a check it out. It's hard to describe the contraption because you don't actually see it work. You see it like charging up. It's like a Wolverine claw, like about to go into his belly, and his belly doesn't have the scar that was shown earlier. So he's basically tracked down the last of the con artists in a way, and he's there to do his business with this gentleman with character that plays a pivotal role in the rest of the franchise. Like I said, that is my best way to not spoil it for you. But I do. See,
I'm a little bit annoyed that he turned out to be in on it as well. Because I already thought that the scam team was a little bit too bloated. There was a lot of people involved in it already.
Yeah, he seemed genuine.
He did seem genuine, and I also, like, thinking back to it, I thought, well, there's no reason why they couldn't perhaps give him a little Operation Scar. Yeah, you know, it's kind of different with John's operation because they keep his head bandaged, and you know, realistically it might be a week or two before you look, whereas if it's on your stomach, you're almost certainly going to look at it straight away, and he'd see straight away that there wasn't a scar there.
You're also surely bedridden for a long time because you can't move, you can't bend your torso.
So yeah, so I thought, oh well, you know, when I was thinking back to it, I thought, oh well, yeah, clearly they just, you know, they gave him a little surgical looking scar and sent him on his way, and he's you know, living a happy life thinking that he's cured. So yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed that it transpires that he's in on it as well.
Oh, sorry, I see what you're saying. I see exactly what you're saying. I was misunderstanding that they still told him that they did the operation. He's still believing it, and they did just a little something, not into his guts. I understand. And he was believing. He's still actually about to die from his unfortunate cancer. But like, and that would have been much better, I think. Because
I said, the main reason is because that was a thought I had, that there's like, there are a lot of people involved in this scam already. And
our supervillain has a supervillain house mansion, glass everywhere. There's a shot that's it was really random. I thought this one shot was very Wes Anderson. It was like exact side view of the house, and you can see one. It was like the TV show Finders Keepers. Have you ever watched that with Neil Buchanan? And it's like you've got it was probably Jigsaw or Amanda in the pig mask up on the roof, and Celia running down here, and you could just see them running around.
Yeah, it was a little bit fun. It also reminded me a little bit of an Inside Number 9 episode.
Is that on Netflix?
It was on Netflix. I'm not sure if it still is. It might be on iPlayer though, or something. You should definitely watch it if you've not seen it already. There is I can't remember what it's called now. It's called A Quiet Night In, and it's an entirely silent episode. There's there's no dialogue in it at all, I don't think, or very, very little. It's almost entirely silent. About two burglars breaking into a very modern house, and yeah, there's a few shots where it kind of it reminded me of that.
Yeah, I see that.
Mainly because I think it's that same sort of ultra modern style house that's very square and lots of glass.
Very modern, just glass and right angles everywhere.
Yeah.
She in that scene though, she had the line that pisses me off so much in a lot of films, where if there's an intruder, you don't know where they are, but she'll shout, "I have a gun." Okay, what is the intruder then going to do? Go, oh, whoa, oh, okay, hang on, let's rethink this. Let's back up. Why would they shout, "I've got a gun. I've got one." You know, it's like if it was with Jason or Michael Myers, and they were like, "I've got a gun," and Michael was like, "Oh, just back up into this cupboard a bit." Whoa, hang on a minute. No, no one's going to fall for
shot
that.
More time than 50 Cent, Michael Myers.
Exactly, no one's going to fall for that. Yeah. Saw X, Saw 1.5, Saw 10. I think we said it was an hour ago now, and I can't remember how we even started this podcast, but I can't remember if we said this would be a short episode. We may have done.
We did say.
It's also, I think it would have also been a short episode because, like I said, the fact that this isn't a film we could have just popped on the DVD player yesterday, or quickly watched again for notes. This is, went to see it at the cinema. That was it. Now I've got to try and remember and try and think of some points.
Yeah, and you can't really sit there in the cinema taking notes.
No, although
I usually take my notes on my phone, so certainly don't want to be that guy in the cinema.
I felt like out of the ones that we've done, say this year from the cinema, say Evil Dead Rise and even Scream, I think I was able to remember a lot more. Like prominent notes, especially Evil Dead Rise, which is on Netflix, by the way. Now, Evil Dead Rise, go check it out.
Yes, it is.
I was very surprised to see that on Netflix. Saw X gets a 6 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Like I say, I've said before, I've never really been that fussed about the Saw franchise. I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed the trailer for it, so I enjoyed it more than I expected to. But yeah, it was very much. I like the setup of it. I like the premise of it.
Yeah,
it needed to be a little bit shorter. Once it had played all its, once it had showed its hand and played all its cards, it needed to just end, and they kept sort of dragging it out a little bit, just beyond my patience. But ultimately, it was all right. Nice way to spend a Tuesday night. Went and watched and saw a film. I hope this is the end of the franchise, though. Honestly, I mean, it's probably not. But
yeah, that's a tricky one because
just put it to bed.
They've labelled it Saw 10, but it was set during Saw 1 and 2. So if you did Saw 11, does that then become a new sequel after Saw? Like they tried to do the spin-offs with Jigsaw and Spiral.
I mean, they're going to start filling in every conceivable gap that they can think of. I think it's because it's got this reputation as being a little bit convoluted and twisty and stuff like that. So they keep trying to expand on how twisty it is. And I wouldn't be surprised if they'll do another sequel that'll actually change something that was a twist in a previous one, and this, oh well, actually you thought it was this, but we showed you that it was this, but in this film you're gonna actually find out that it's this. They'll retcon something and mess around with it even more.
It's becoming very Star Wars-esque.
It's trying to be, they're going to fill in all the gaps, and every character in the franchise is going to turn out to be actually involved in something somehow, and we'll see.
It's like this is the Rogue One. Like we didn't need that little story. We don't need it. We actually get a lot of the backstory. Like we get a lot of backstory of hurt and pain and suffering that John goes through in the later films. And like I said, kind of giving somewhat his reasons as to why he does it. This isn't so much a reason why he's doing it, because we already have Saw 1. And
it's almost a shame that this is a Saw film. Like this, if this was a different film,
completely,
and we got like, oh, somebody takes revenge on a con artist in the worst conceivable way, that had been a great film in its own right. It's almost like wasted on it being the 9th Saw sequel. But hey ho,
wasn't great, wasn't bad.
Yeah, definitely
it was okay.
Worse.
Well, we could have watched worse, which we won't be doing right now. I watched Kermode's 8-minute review on Disbeliever. Oh boy. Oh, he doesn't let up on that film. I'm gonna wait till it's this weekend. I'm gonna wait till it's on VOD, and I do plan to watch it. I want to.
I'll watch it at some point. Yeah. I want to tell you what. I watched The Pope's Exorcist. That's great.
You did.
Yeah.
Is the scene where he's on the moped just looks so goofy.
It's brilliant all the way through. You can just tell that Russell Crowe is having the best time pretending to be an Italian priest. He absolutely loves it.
Feels like the sort of film Nick Cage would have done.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he was like the original choice, maybe.
Yeah.
It's fun. I enjoyed it. Anyway, that's pretty much it for me for Saw, I think. I've
same.
Said all I wanted to say.
Yep, same. I think that's exactly the same. And I think what we were just talking about, a few other horror films that we haven't touched. We mentioned last time on the podcast that towards the end of the year, probably the last episode of the year, we'll do a wrap-up of the year. Some other films we haven't watched. Like, you type in 2023 in horror. I remember doing this last year, 2022 in horror, and it was a fantastic year. There we've got Infinity Pool, which I really wanted to watch, with Mia Goth and Alexander Skarsgård. Cobweb, Talk to Me, Renfield. I've
not seen Renfield yet.
Pope's Exorcist, which I will watch. Now you've seen it, we can talk about it.
I liked it. I did like it. I still want to see the Winnie the Pooh one as well, Blood and Honey.
Yes. Now I think we should check that out, because we need the closure like we did with Outwaters. We did the trailer reaction, which actually I think may have been before your time.
It was.
And again, before your time, we did the trailer breakdown for Thorns, which was a Doug Bradley kind of Hellraiser-esque film, which came out this year. So, a lot of films just to quickly watch in the spare time, and then we'll get around to wrapping up the year later on in December. Okay. I think that's about it for today. I need to go and cough a lot of screen.
That's it. You do. You need to go and get yourself some rest and some chicken broth, and
how shit rappers
or something.
Shit rappers flaunt their money. Yeah, I'm like
paracetamol.
Son, on my medicine. Gonna dose up on everything. So next week, if I am better, hopefully I'm better.
Hopefully better.
A nice fun pick. This is a fun film. This is not one to be taken seriously. It's a fun watch. Our Devon Sawyer double bill of the month. Idle Hands. Looking forward to it. Not scary, just fun. Looking forward to it. And then we're capping off the month with Halloween 6, which I watched the other day. And he talked to you about that off screen, because There are 2 versions. I completely forgot.
Oh yeah.
And we need to
I think you did
that.
already mention which version
I may
you
have
watched.
done. I
think you did. Yeah.
Watch the 4K version. Yeah. So yeah, capping off October. Do check out the TikTok. I'm posting every couple days here and there because I don't have time for all these social medias. Who does, unless you do it for a living? It's fine. Check out the TikTok. We've got some fun little clips from each episode going up there. The last one about your amazing fact. I'm still blown away by that, about the razor blade hole in American houses.
Oh, yeah.
Check it out. That's
we educate as well as entertain, Tom, as I said. That's what we do.
Loosely entertain.
Well, when we can.
When we can. Check it out. The TikTok, Twitter /X, and Instagram, _Dreadcast. Go follow, like, subscribe, tell everyone about it. And you find this podcast on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, Podbean. Yes, that's all of them. Check out all past content there. I don't believe we have any mail because no one apparently likes us.
We never do, but I will mention it. If you do want to send us an email, you can at thedreadcastpod@gmail.com. That is thedreadcastpod@gmail.com. Just send us something.
Anything.
Just a little hello.
Anything. No, afraid not. No mail in the bag this time. Is that...
It'll get to the point where we're like, don't send us anything because we don't want to break the streak. But I'm still in that sort of zone where it'd be nice to have a little message.
Well, it's fun. Fun was sending some great emails and great questions in.
And then, gave up.
Probably
found some other horror podcast.
Or joking one. Anyway, I believe that's it.
That is it from us.
Yeah, let's go rest. Let's go chill.
There's only one more thing to say. Until next time.
Stay spooky. Stay healthy. Ugh.